50 Cent, Biography, 1975, July 27, 2015. Hip-hop artist and entrepreneur Curtis Jackson, better known by his stage name 50 Cent, shot to popularity in 2003 with his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. 50 Cent. Who is he? Hip-hop singer and entrepreneur Curtis Jackson, better known by his stage name 50 Cent, rose to fame for his streetwise rhymes and inspiring rise from poverty to wealth. He resorted to rap after a childhood filled with crime, drugs, and bloodshed, and with the release of the album Get Rich or Die Tryin' in 2003, he shot to fame. With side projects including the hip-hop group G-Unit, interests in soda water firms and video games, 50 Cent was one of the key figures in early 21st century gangsta rap. Since then, he has expanded into acting and business. His career has been rife with legal and financial issues, arrests, and disputes with other rappers. His most recent music production has also been patchy. Early years Curtis James Jackson III, better known as 50 Cent, was born on July 6, 1975 in the New York City borough of Queens. He was brought up by a single mother in the Jamaica ghetto. When Jackson was just 8 years old, his drug-dealing mother perished in an unidentified fire. Jackson was then raised by his grandma. Jackson battled at the junior level while harboring childhood dreams of becoming a boxer, but at the age of 12, he started dealing narcotics. When Jackson was 19 years old, an undercover police officer detained him for selling 4 vials of cocaine. 3 weeks later, when his residence was searched, authorities discovered crack and heroin. Instead of serving his 3 to 9 year sentence, he attended boot camp and earned his GED. He started rapping at this point and used the stage name 50 Cent, which was the original alias of a Brooklyn thug from the 1980s. Hip-hop's early years. An introduction to Jam Master Jay from the group Run DMC marked his first significant interaction with the New York hip-hop scene. Jackson's rapping skills intrigued Jay, who created an album for him that was never released. Jackson also had a bad experience working with the Columbia label, recording an album that was never released. Jackson's aggressive manner is on display on that album, Power of the Dollar, which was eventually bootlegged. On the tune, How to Rob, he describes his intentions to steal from celebrities like P. Diddy, Jay-Z, Maze, and Missy Elliott. Jackson suffered numerous injuries as a result of a serious shooting event that occurred in 2000. Following his rehabilitation, he went back to making music and formed the G-Unit team with his buddies Tony Yayo and Lloyd Banks to make a number of low-budget records. When Eminem and Dr. Dre heard 50 Cent's Guess Who's Back mixtape in 2002, they took notice of their efforts and jointly signed him to their record labels, Shady Records and Aftermath Entertainment. Eminem and Dr. Dre worked together to create 50 Cent's debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. A total of 9 million copies were finally sold, making it a huge commercial success. Strong hooks supported its gritty tracks, such as Wanksta and In Da Club, enabling them to become crossover mainstream smashes. His physical attributes, muscled, tattooed, sporting a Kevlar vest and a handgun, as well as the fact that his lyrics were inspired by actual events made him stand out in a field where most rappers' boasts were meaningless. The Los Angeles Times gushed, his rhymes are ordinary, but his lisp, his overdone delivery, and the beats backing him put this compilation over the edge. Other releases include The Massacre. Another popular album, The Massacre, was released in 2005 after Get Rich or Die Tryin', on which Jackson continued to rap about sex, criminality, and narcotics on songs like Candy Shop and Just a Lil Bit. Under the Interscope brand, he established his own label, signed Lloyd Banks and Young Buck, and added them to the G-Unit group for the 2004 album Beg for Mercy, which went on to sell more than 5 million copies globally. Curtis in 2007 and Before I Self-Destruct in 2009, 2 subsequent 50 Cent albums, saw merely average sales. But by that point, 50 Cent's background as a former criminal who overcame drug addiction, violence, and poverty had cemented his status as a significant figure in hip-hop culture. With the release of the album Animal Ambition in 2014, Jackson continued to be active in the industry, despite the record's lackluster critical reception and its paltry sales of just over 100,000 copies. His focus was diverted by ongoing disputes with Ja Rule, Rick Ross, and The Game. Children's interests and business. Jackson successfully pushed his brand into other areas, following in the footsteps of hip-hop moguls like Dr. Dre and Jay-Z. He developed the popular headphones brand SMS Audio and promoted and invested in Vitamin Water, a deal that is said to have earned him $100 million when the company was sold to Coca-Cola in 2007. Jackson has 2 boys with 2 separate mothers, Marquise and Sire. The roles in Power and other films. Jackson has had success in both the film and television industries. He has been an executive producer and supporting actor in the crime drama Power since 2014. In addition, Jackson starred with Sylvester Stallone in the 2013 picture Escape Plan and its 2 follow-ups. He also made appearances in the 2015 movies Spy, Southpaw, and Den of Thieves, 2018. The process of bankruptcy and restarting. Jackson's legal and financial issues got worse when Ross's girlfriend Lastonia Leviston filed a lawsuit against him for posting a sex clip online without getting her consent. In July 2015, a jury awarded Jackson $7 million in damages. The rapper-entrepreneur had to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection as a result of that incident, as well as another one involving the headphone manufacturer Sleek Audio. The bankruptcy court ordered Jackson to pay his creditors $23 million over a 5-year period in 2016, but he completed the payment in only a few months thanks to a settlement in his favor from a legal malpractice lawsuit. He also eventually sold his opulent Connecticut estate in Farmington that had been up for sale for years for a reasonable price of $8 million that same year. In 2003, he had bought the house from Mike Tyson. More than 20 years after the release of his critically acclaimed debut album, 50 Cent continues to draw large crowds to his shows. Alternatively, his most recent Globe tour saw him sell out venues across Europe, South America, and most recently, Dubai. Despite the fact that 50 Cent's music career has taken a backseat to his lucrative work as a television producer, it is clear from the sold-out crowds that there is still a need for his enduring body of work. Nevertheless, 50 Cent's tour serves as an energetic reminder of his contribution to hip-hop and his effect on a new generation of rappers and producers, with roughly 30 tracks performed at each event. Let's compare all of his albums to one another and see how they all compare. Curtis, 6. 2007. A classic album in all the wrong ways, Curtis. Kanye West, who was also releasing his album Graduation on the same day as 50 Cent, and he engaged in a commercial war to promote the release of their respective albums. Graduation ultimately won despite both artists traveling the country and, in the case of West, even the UK to promote their music. One major factor was that 50's sound stagnated while West continued to improve his. Although Curtis boasts some of the best production money can buy, it is completely derivative and contains songs that endlessly switch between the gritty and the radio-friendly. Curtis is the result of 50 Cent creatively cashing in, even if the same strategy has been effective in the past. Animal Ambition, 5, 2014. It's a noteworthy release since it is 50 Cent's closest approach to a concept album to date. Animal Ambition, which only has 11 songs, examines the advantages and disadvantages of celebrity. You would think that the rapper would be able to go creative on this, but instead he plays it safe on gritty songs like Hustler and Irregular Heartbeat, the latter of which was a squandered collaboration with talented rapper Jadakiss. However, 50 shows us that he still has the ability to create a catchy club smash on Smoke. Before I Self-Destruct, Song, 2009. The album debuted on the Billboard 200 at position number 5. Before I Self-Destruct signaled the start of 50 Cent's waning influence on US charts. Nevertheless, compared to the dreary predecessor Curtis, this is a significant improvement. Before I Self-Destruct, which features some nasty language, was the final song 50 Cent released that was worth listening to. The Massacre, 3. 2005. The Massacre, which was released with all the hype associated with a blockbuster, is a large and bloated film that shows 50 at the height of his career. It is a brilliantly produced album that serves as the follow-up to his groundbreaking debut and includes the singles Candy Shop, Disco Inferno, and Just a Lil Bit. Power of the Dollar, 2. Power of the Dollar, an album that was supposed to be released in 2000, was postponed by the record company Columbia Records when 50 Cent was shot in New York before the album's release. Later that year, Power of the Dollar, a ferocious compilation of street tales, was eventually published as a bootleg mixtape, which only added to the mystique surrounding his reputation. But it was his unquestionable talent, as displayed in The Clever How to Rob and The Good Die Young, that inspired producer Dr. Dre and future superstar Eminem to co-sign 50 Cent to their respective labels and launch his career. The phrase, "Get Rich or Die Trying," 2003. It's difficult to recall a hip-hop record being released with such anticipation before Eminem's Marshall Mathers LP did so in 2000. The excitement surrounding the former was at least supported by Eminem's corpus of prior work. However, the attention surrounding 50's formal debut album was fueled by a violent persona that had not been seen since the rise of the late rapper Tupac Shakur. It also helped that Dr. Dre, the super producer renowned for his unrelenting work ethic and Midas touch, took 50 Cent under his wing. That confluence of aspiration and wisdom was extremely fruitful. In an interview with The National in 2020, 50 Cent recognized the album's influence. In 2003, when they were at their hedonistic best and used to party non-stop, my core audience was in college. And I had the biggest debut album in hip-hop at that time. So without me, they couldn't have a party. There was no way for you to get away from me.